the Saturday before the Mother's Day on Sunday, and my mother had passed away that January. And then the second time was the day after I closed on this house. I was still single, and I had bought this house, and that's the driveway. I'm sorry, that's the driveway alarm. Is it going to go again? Nope, she made it into the garage. Oh, no, there we go. If she went up to get the mail, I'm going to have to get up and turn it off. No, okay. So, the second time they put me on that second med, but it was the day after I had closed on the house and the locksmith had just left. And I've got like 7 doors here between the garage and the house. Just gave the locksmith $1,200. A lot of the doors didn't have a top lock. I grew up in Brooklyn. Anyway, that's why I have a driveway alarm and an alarm and machine gun turrets and all that stuff. Floodlights, guard dogs, Dobermans, everything, alligators. Even though nothing happens, that's the car going out of the driveway. That should stop very soon. Yeah, okay. So, anyway, that's the story over here. K1GMM and the group N2. No group. What am I saying? I'm so used to saying group when I'm here on 3705. I'm still surprised nobody at this hour has awakened. K1GMM N2 LJO.
Come on, you bunch of sandbaggers, get in here. I'm going to drop it. I heard someone, I think it was a two-tone, a non-signal, checking their pure signal while you were transmitting. So let me drop it here. Nada. Zippo. Wow. Well, geez, it's good to actually get to know you a little bit. These big roundtables is very difficult to actually really drill down a little bit. But yeah, that's funny. I've often thought, how would I protect this property? I've got not a lot of frontage. There's probably about 120 feet of frontage before I get to the road. Before you get to the road I live on, which parallels Route 7, which is the main corridor. And I remember, and I've always thought about this. I remember years ago, oh gosh, this was 20 years ago, 25 years ago probably. Yeah, 20 years ago. We had multiple state troopers living right next door to me, right? And I picked up a car from Connecticut, and I ran into one of the troopers, my neighbors, and I said, hey, when you get some spare time, if you got any time, could you come down and verify the VIN number? He says, oh, I'll do it right now. So he came down and grabbed the phone and checked the VIN number for me, verified it, put the checkbox in there. And we were chatting, and he's like, oh man, he says, yeah, this road, he says, the stuff we see on this road, it's like the main corridor for drug trafficking. I mean, you name it. You wouldn't think so, because it goes through some really beautiful areas, and people think Vermont is so beautiful, but this place is so damn corrupt, dude. It's a cesspool. I call it the East Coast San Francisco, really. Beautiful to look at in spots, but yeah. But that's everywhere, right? But he's like, yeah, he says, this is the stuff that we catch on this road. It would blow your mind. I was like, you didn't go any further than that, but I always think about that. What could I do to protect this property a little bit better? At least let me know that somebody's on it or coming into it. You know what I mean? N2LJO, K1GMM.
K1GMM and 2LJO. Well, we have cameras, and we get a notification on our phone. We get a ping if somebody pulls into the driveway or is at the front door, and other places I won't get into. And we have a central station alarm system and some other preventive measures. So you do what you can. And then we're still allowed at this point anyway, so far allowed to own guns. So that's for obviously for when I'm home. You take your precautions. My road kind of parallels the main road, so it's like, at certain times of day it gets a little busy, but knock on wood. I'm not going to even say anything more. Anyway, yeah, I wonder, I guess everybody's sleeping in today. Kevin and Chris and Paul. Haven't heard Dawn in a few days. Jamie. I would be up anyway, even if I wasn't in the habit of getting on the radio in the morning. But it's a lot of fun. And then during the summer, I'll tell you the truth, if I had not been getting on in the morning, I have a lot of days I wouldn't operate at all because I'm usually up the band, up in the window with a nice group of guys. And we get a little nutty sometimes with break in, and we walk right up to the line as far as acceptable topics and language and stuff like that. But it's fun. And but in the afternoon, in the summertime rather, in the afternoon when you have beautiful weather and sunlight or daylight until 8 o'clock at night. Very many days, most days probably, there's nobody on up there. So if it wasn't for getting on in the morning these past few months, a lot of days I just wouldn't have operated at all. And it was nice to make new friends. We met a few people out at Sussex. I don't know where you're too far up in Vermont. I had my wheels in Vermont once because I was given the wrong directions by my Elmer, who lives in Cagid. When he first moved up there, he gave me directions to Nearfest, and I think it was supposed to be 93, and he told me 91. I don't know. So one of the roads he gave me the wrong road coming up off of 84, and I took it. And I'm like, this doesn't seem right. And I pull over in one of these little areas off the side of the road, like a rest stop. And I'm looking at the map they had up, and it's like, I'm in Vermont. Oh my God, that's wrong. I think that's the only time I've ever had my wheels and my feet in Vermont. But that's probably too far for you to go to Sussex. I wonder, Steve, if you do go to Nearfest, it's in a new location now. It's probably closer to you because I think it's further to the west. New Boston, I think it's called, New Hampshire. So I'm not sure if I'm going to go or not, but the thought is always there, and I probably have gone over the years. Let's see. I've got this wire up since 1996, and I actually became very active on HF in general and AM finally. I used to run boat anchors on 11 meters 45 years ago, even 48 years ago. Got my ticket in 1990, lived in a lot of apartments where I couldn't do a whole lot. And then when I bought this house, I got the wire up and I really became active and started buying boat anchors and stuff. So I guess since 2006 or so, probably been up to Nearfest about 15 times, I'm going to say. And it's always fun, so I wonder if you go at all. K1GMM and no group and 2LJO.
I had to look that up. New Boston. So yeah, that's quite a bit closer. I've been to Nearfest once, and I was thinking, boy, I got to get back out there. This was in, gosh, dude, 2016, 2017, somewhere in there. Yeah, and that was a haul. Because I'm on the west side of the state, so I got to go. So I'm looking at if that's New Boston, which is west of Manchester. That's got to be. Let's see, it's about 50 minutes to Brattleboro, and it's probably an hour and 45 minutes, probably somewhere in there. Because it's like easily 2.5 hours to get to like Portsmouth, or down in where was Nearfest? Blech, Nearfest. I can't remember. Was it down near Salem? On the coast there, right? It was very close to the coast, I think, wasn't it?
No, I do not believe Concord is anywhere near the coast. It was right outside of Concord, Deerfield, New Hampshire, and I saw a signal. I didn't hear it. I maybe keyed too quick. I don't know. I heard somebody looked like somebody wanted to jump in. Is there a breaking station finally at 7:44 a.m.?
It's N2LJO K1GMM AJ1G. Good morning, George, and good morning, Steve. I'll answer your questions about. Make sure I got it here. Yeah, it looks like I do. With a paper bag on my head, George, but luckily, the Kansas City moved up, but who came down? The Twins, who else was up there? Milwaukee, the Brewers, I don't know. Whoever was up there in the 2-hole, they were tied for the 2-hole. They lost, so the Red Sox are still 3.5 out of the 3-hole for the wild card. 12-2 on the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks are a good team. You know, they're actually very close in percentage points to the Red Sox in overall standings. Anyhow, New Boston is west of about as far west of Manchester as Deerfield was to the east. Yeah, when I would go up to Nearfest at Deerfield, I'd take 93 up, and then it was only a few minutes east on 201, 102. And then you got onto the Route 43, and you're up there. To get to New Boston, I looked at it on the map. If you're coming up from like we do, George, you would go up, get off 495 at Groton, Massachusetts, not Groton, Connecticut, Groton, Massachusetts, and you take, I think it's 109 west out where Steve used to be, QIX, out at where was he out there? A town with like a seaport name in the middle of nowhere. Anyhow, you take 109 to 13 north, which takes you to Brookfield, New Hampshire, right, state line. And you continue north on 13, and I believe the fairgrounds is due west of Manchester on Route 13, which is a major north-south, mostly 2-lane divided highway, but it's a good one. And that's how I plan to go up. Yeah, over to you, N2LJO, AJ1G on the Central Electronics 100V and 600L.
Okay, AJ1G and the group N2LJO. Well, good to hear you. Good to hear somebody. I don't mean it that way, but I was on here about 6:45, I think. Yeah. And I thought I was being funny. I was playing off my phone. I was playing the Yankees theme, figuring somebody would come back. I guess Kevin's probably still sleeping, or maybe he's at Walmart. Does he go on the weekend? God, I would never think. Wanted to tell you, one of the greatest things about working for yourself, aside from not having to answer an alarm clock, is getting to go shopping, either Christmas shopping or during the regular, non-Christmas season. Any kind of shopping you have to do, even though my wife does most of it, any kind of shopping you have or want to do at a place like a BJ's or Costco or anything like that, because you can go, like at 10 o'clock on a Tuesday morning when there's nobody there. And I did actually just that yesterday. I went to BJ's. Kathy hadn't had a chance to get shopping, and we were at a Cold Cuts, and they are the cheapest, man. They are the cheap, and the turkey they have for $7.99 a pound, at least over here in Yorktown, is better than Boar's Head, better than anything she buys and pays $12 a pound for. And I keep telling her, go to BJ's. She keeps bringing home stuff from ShopRite and overpaying. But in any event, um, to me, that's one of the, and I've always done that. I used to go Christmas shopping at 10 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday or a Wednesday when I lived down in Yonkers. Anyway, yeah, the Yankees won 3-0. The Sox, I saw, got demolished. They lost 12-2, and Baltimore won. So I guess the Yankees kept pace with Baltimore, a game and a half up, and they picked up a game on Boston. Judge hit his 49th home run. Stanton hit another one 2 nights in a row also. I think maybe number 24, something like that. And we have more games today and tomorrow, which is cool. So it's a beautiful thing. And we're going to be in the postseason. This coming weekend, right, is next weekend is Labor Day weekend. And before you know it, it'll be Christmas. Good God, I'll tell you, time goes so quick. All right, anyway, over to you, Steve. K1GMM and the group, and 2LJO.
Okay, yeah. Who was it that popped in there? I'm on a mad research thing. Yeah, I'm not going to beat the dead horse, but I'm wondering if it's still called Nearfest. I guess it is, right? But yeah, that's quite a bit closer than when it was out in Deerfield. I was just looking at a map. Boy, there's just no easy way. Northern New England sucks because it's fine if you're going north and south, but if you have to go east and west, I mean, there is no easy way to get to where you need to go. I was just looking at the map and I'm like, good Lord, it's all secondaries. Once I hit Brattleboro, looks like I need to, I don't even know. I couldn't really figure it out which way I would go to get there, but it's all secondaries to get there. So it's going to take a while. It's nowhere near as bad. Deerfield took forever. I remember that. I didn't drive. I went with a friend of mine. But anyways, yeah. Let me put it over to I'm really inept and I've been up since 3. I couldn't sleep. So I'm a little foggy. Who was it? I got my list here. Shoot. Almost. AJ1G, was that you, Chris? Anyways, yeah, you know who you are. K1GMM.
Indeed, it is AJ1G, Alpha Juliet 1 Golf on the old Central Electronics 100V 600L. About 75 watts into the antenna.
What's going on, Chris?
It's a little better at 75.
WB1 EAE.
Okay, George.
How's it going, Paul?
Yeah, BJ's. Yeah, BJ's is like about 2 miles from the Costco in East Lyme that we go to. We just have the membership at Costco, and yeah, it is nice. Well, yeah, self-employed, retired. Yeah. When you go, yeah, we do that. You know, yeah. The thing is, you want to go to Costco late morning when they got all the free samples out, and it's all retirees for the most part. You know, you get the occasional self-employed type, but it's pretty much all old parts. And there's guys that, you know, I work with, you know, that are all other fellow retirees from work that I run into on a regular basis. There's one guy, he must be on the same schedule as me, because it was like, for a while, like 4 times in a row when I was there, he was there. Yeah, they've got, we don't buy cold cuts too much there. We occasionally get like a multi-pack of like salami and things like that, a bunch of different Italian cuts. It's all pre-packed and everything. But, you know, the $5 chickens, they just blow everybody away. You get spoiled on the Costco $4.99 chickens. They are twice as much in terms of weight as the scrawny ones you find in like like Stop and Shop. And yeah, the prices definitely are better. You know what? You mentioned ShopRite. Stop and Shop up here. Prices are. I think it has everything to do with those are union shops, George. Stop and Shop is definitely a union shop. I don't know about Big Y, but their prices are usually a lot more reasonable. They're like a local chain here in Connecticut and like up in the Springfield area. But as far as I know, the Costco's and the BJ's are not union shops, and much more reasonable prices on everything. Of course, you got to buy in bulk, but you know the things you use all the time, it doesn't wear out, like toilet paper and paper towels and all of that. You know, Costco, and they I tell you what, they have the tire. I don't know if BJ's does tires, but at Costco, we're very, very happy with. We've done 2 different vehicles now, and let them stick with them. They're excellent. They blow the competition away by a couple $100 on a set of tires, and they do an excellent job on it. And technically, they're very good as far as torquing the wheels. You got to bring it back after 100 miles or so to retorque them for you while you shop. No additional charge. They fill them with nitrogen in the little green caps, and very, very happy with it. So there you go. Yeah, beautiful weather up here this whole week, and it's getting a little more humid and a little warmer, but definitely feel like we've broken the back of the oppressive heat. I had a good night up at the beach a couple days ago. Fish are in. There's a lot of bluefish right up at the beach. I didn't get any, but I had actually packed up and was on our way back. It was post-sunset, and the guys next to me, the beach just exploded with bluefish. And looking forward to getting back up there maybe tonight or something. We'll see. Anyhow, over to you, George. And yeah, baseball keeps chugging along here. There was something interesting about baseball that I had come across. I forget what it is now, but anyhow, over to you. N2LJO and Company, AJ1G.
Is someone looking to join in? Somebody was perfectly zero, just keyed up on top of you for 2 seconds. It seemed like they were tuning in advance of jumping in, but I guess not. AJ1G in the group, N2LJO. Yes, the $5 chickens. I've picked them up there on occasion. And when I lived in Yonkers, I used to go to Costco. And when I moved up here to Yorktown, there's a BJ's right down the road, like a mile and a half around the corner down the road from me. And they have a very good deli counter. As a matter of fact, even yesterday morning, let's see, what time? I guess I finished the gym around 11 o'clock. When I went in there, I still had to wait behind 3 people at the deli
Chris,
counter.
Yeah, congratulations
on the
working call
behind
sign.
the deli counter.
Very cool.
And
wow.
They are the cheapest on so much stuff. They don't have Boar's Head. Really, the only thing that I would insist upon, Boar's Head, is something that I don't eat that often, which is liverwurst. There's no other liverwurst that compares to Boar's Head, but I don't have it that often because it's not really good for you. I could eat a quarter of a pound of liverwurst right out of the wax paper. Delicious. Boar's Head, though. But I don't buy that very much. They have, I think, Dietz and Watson or something, but
I gotta get upstairs.
I'm telling you, the turkey breast and the chicken breast, they have Land O'Lakes American cheese, which is the best. And it's just a good place for cold cuts. Stop and Shop over here, Kathy doesn't like. It's very expensive. Every once in a while, we get the circular every week anyway, and every once in a while they'll put something out as a loss leader to suck people in, a certain product, a steak or something, and she'll go there to get just that product. And as far as tires, brother. This BJ's does do tires. I have been there. I was actually there twice when I had a flat. This car is the first car I've kept more than 3 years in about 28 years.
I'm doing okay. Wicked tired.
And
had a huge day yesterday.
I think it's only the second time.
Today, tomorrow, and Monday are going to be
on a
hell.
Car, and all that time, I'm at 52,000. When I got to 48, they were pretty well worn. I could have driven longer on them, but. And I went back to the dealer, and the reason I went back to the dealer, first of all,
You're
they
gonna be
matched.
moving
I shopped around, and they matched the price.
Pellets.
I wanted the same exact tire that came with the
Monday.
car, and I wanted them to do what's called road force balancing, which I will never drive another car without. When I first got the car, it had a little bit of a rumble in the front, and it was like a week old, and the right wheel in the front was like vibrating up and down. And I went back to the dealer, aside from the fact that that's my wife. Let me take this, let me send it over to you, Steve, and I'll pick up where we left off when it comes back to me. N2 LJO, get Steve.
Okay, I gotta get upstairs, so I'll leave you guys with it anyways. Chris, I was wondering if you were a fisherman. I got a quick story for you, and then my wife is bugging out early, so it's 8:00. I just looked at my watch, and I hear her upstairs. She's got something big going on, so I want to touch base with her before she leaves, and she's leaving soon. I was wondering if you did any fishing, because I got it's not a fish story, but you may think it's a fish story. I spent about 700 hours a year down there on the shore fishing. I left my boat in Stonington at a marina down there. I left it in Pawcatuck for about a decade. And I did a lot of fly fishing down there. And I had driven down. I'd go down for the day quite often. I'd just drive down after I worked in the mornings. So I'd bug out and go down for the day, and I'd be home and go back to work that night. And once I got back, usually about 12, 1 in the morning. And I went down this one day, and I heard there was a squid run, right? It's the only time I've ever seen this happen to this extent. But I've been out of the game for quite a few years. I sold the boat in 2010, so this was from about 1997 to 2010. And I can't remember which year it was, probably maybe 2005, 2006, somewhere in there. And so I get down there, and I got all my squid patterns all tied. I'm ready to go. I get out there, and this is on Sugar Reef and Watch Hill Reef. And I'm the only one out there. I fished for 2 tide swings, ebb and flow. I ran out of water after the first 6 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours. And it was hot. And I was absolutely killing it. 54 stripers with multiples over 20 pounds, all on the fly. It was absolutely pandemonium, and I was the only boat out there that day. I'll never forget it. It's one of those days I could never replicate it. I don't think it would ever happen again. I was all black and blue in my belly from fighting the fish. And I'll tell you, dude, that was like a day to remember. And I'm sure you've probably got days like that. It's just epic. I wish I had a GoPro running, but it would have been like a 10, 12-hour event. I was even bagging them during slack tide. The squid, you could see the squid in the water. There were clouds of them. Anything white, you could throw it in there and give it a couple snaps, and oh yeah, it's just boiling. I've seen boils before, but I've never seen that kind of thing. It was absolutely amazing. Go ahead. I'll get your comment, and then I got to clear out quick. AJ1G, K1GMM.
GMM, AJ1G. Yeah, you're right by wheelhouse here. I am down off of Greenhaven Road, which is off of River Road. So were you at Norwest Marine?
That's where I used to leave the boat.
Yeah, okay. Well, they're still going great guns, and I don't know if you've been down this way lately, but the old mill across the street is, half of it's been converted to nice high-end condominiums, and eventually they're working on getting the other half going. Really It's when that's done, it's nice. Right now, it looks like Rust Belt meets affluent modern yuppiedom. Like I said, the one building is a wreck, and the half of the building is a wreck. The other is all restored, but the plan is to do the rest of it. Yeah, where did you say you're in your boat? Where specifically were you? By the spindle or one of the hummocks, or where were you exactly?
Yep. I was working both reefs, so I was at the spindle, where Sugar Reef is, and I was also working Watch Hill Reef out off the lighthouse. So I was running back and forth between the. I think I spent all my time. I'm trying to think. Was it incoming? Incoming. I think I was. Well, the whole thing is a blur because it was so many years ago. One of the reefs I spent most of the time. Oh, outgoing. That's it. Outgoing. I was on Sugar Reef, not Sugar Reef. Watch Hill Reef. So I dropped a hook because I was like, well, screw this. They're all around me. So I just dropped a hook right there on Sugar Reef on outgoing before the exposed rocks start showing. You know where I'm talking about. This would be on the outside of the channel that comes through by the lighthouse where the inner reef is. This is the outer reef. And that was on outgoing. And on incoming, I was over by the spindle. So I dropped a hook there and got right back into it. And I think if I remember correctly, I headed over there during slack. So once everything went slack, I kind of picked up and I went over looking over there. And good God, dude. It was freaking awesome. Go ahead.
I'm mainly a surf caster. I was up at Weekapaug. The beach of Weekapaug is a great spot. It's relatively accessible. You can get on the beach this time of year between May 15th and September 15th. There's restricted access because there's like 3 private beaches owned by local neighborhoods that you can't park. You can if you can figure out you can get a parking space. You can walk in, of course, but we usually go up at after 6 in the summer, and then in a couple of weeks here it'll be wide open 24/7. Really good spot. I need to get up there at night. I hear it's been fantastic at night, especially on tide drops. On the outgoing. I also do the breachways, but I'm not real fond of the breachways. A lot of times it's tough, getting landing a fish on them, and there's a lot of rocks. I've lost a lot of gear on it. So I tend to favor the beaches, East Beach, Charlestown, and actually I have a ham buddy who has a house right on the west side of the Quaney Breachway, and he's like literally walk down to the beach from his driveway. He lets me park there. He's up in Massachusetts. He's in Billerica, K1PAD, and I got permission to park at his house whenever he's not there, even when he's there, and so I get access to the east side of the Quaney Breachway. I don't have a sand pass. I might get one at some point, but that would get me, the outer reaches of the other side of the Quaney Breachway between Weekapaug and Quaney. And Charlestown, Bass Rock, up in Narragansett Bay, up near Point Judith, of course. And a buddy of mine, a work buddy, just called me. I don't have a boat. My father-in-law he had a 21-footer, but that's back in the 90s and 80s. But a buddy of mine from work, my old cube mate, just called me. Just picked up a nice Robalo center console a couple weeks ago. He keeps it at Gray's Boatyard over in Westerly on the westerly side of the river, and he's itching to go out. So I'll gladly go out on someone else's boat and help pay for gas. And that's crazy that blitz you hit like that. It's definitely starting. The fall run has been pretty strong here. It's getting started. Albies are around, Bonito are around, Blues are, like I said, right up on the beach. It's kind of funny. Wednesday nights at Mesquamic, there's a Blues on the Beach music concert. They've had that for years, but they literally have Blues on the Beach up here the other night. Unfortunately, we had to leave. I was ready to keep going, but Diane wanted to get home. She was beach combing for rocks. She did much better than me, but I got excellent casting practice. Anyhow, yeah, the closest thing I can ever saw, like what you just described, was down in Bahamas. Like it was on Navy research ship in the tongue of the ocean. We used to anchor and do testing with the Navy down there. And off watch from our testing, we would fish our brains out. We were a big fish magnet, out in the middle of nowhere. And the mahi, especially in the spring, would run through there. And one night, we have all sorts of lights. We're all lit up, which helped attract it. We were literally surrounded by a sea of mahi, hundreds of them. And it was just like, the great Mariana's turkey shoot. You mostly use cast masters and things like that, jigs, and you would cast them, you could actually, you pick your fish, you cast to it, and like three of them be trying to get at it at once. It was just insanity. Probably never see anything like that again. I mean, literally, you look out and all you could see was mahi, stacked up like a parking lot. It's all kind of pointing in the same direction into the current. All right, back to you, and let's see if George came back. K1GMM and M2LJO AJ1G.
They have nothing to contribute to, so carry on, please. Don't feel like I have to run my mouth just to hear my own voice. So go ahead.
That's what I do. That's what I do, George. Let me make sure I got it quick, because I'll leave you guys with it. I got to get out of here, but I got a quick comment. Okay. One thing. I was called a liar. I was told that I was hallucinating. I said, yeah, whatever. Think what you want. I don't freaking care. I saw a dolphin tuna porpoise jump right out of the freaking water about, I would say, 300 or 400 yards from the Red Can in the channel coming into Watch Hill. And it was right around that time. I did some research, and the Gulf Stream was very close. Came in very close that year. And I saw one porpoise came blowing right out of the water, all lit up. I was probably, 400 or 500 feet away. Couldn't miss it. I was like, okay, that's a weird one. Never seen that before around these parts. I can't remember. That must have been around the same time, anywhere 2004, 2006, somewhere in there. That was really cool. What I miss most, as you mentioned bluefish, well, two things. Smoked bluefish pate. Oh, my gosh. With a box of crackers. Yeah. You eat that whole thing in one sitting. That is money right there, folks. What is the other thing I was going to... Oh, I think it's closed now. They closed it, don't ask me what year, fishing on Southwest Ledge, but we used to run out to Southwest Ledge and Block Island. Did a lot of fishing in Montauk, too, Montauk Point. Tons of it. Most all of the false albacore and bonita came off of that area, and I'm telling you, man, that was... I didn't adhere to the rule of thumb. Make sure you run a good reel, a good tackle on those false albacore. Blew the reel apart, landed on the freaking floor of the boat. Pound for pound, a 4 to 6 pound false albacore will tear your freaking balls off. I was running a 12-weight rod too. No stopping that thing, man. It's like hooking a freaking Ferrari. I don't care what anybody says about that. You hook one of those things, yeah, that's incredible. 100 yards, boom, right into the backing in the first run. With multiple runs. It's just, they're so cool, man. Bonita are cool. Good eating, too. Baby tuna. I think the false albacore are technically a bloody mackerel, correct? That's what they call them, but a lot of people mistake them for being the same thing, and they're not, but they fight the same. Southwest Ledge. We used to go out there, and I'm telling you, man, Slammer Blues. I can't tell you how many 23-pound bluefish we caught off of Southwest. Big. I mean, it was like hooking a freaking Greyhound bus, man. It was those things. Once they get over 20 pounds, they're incredible, aren't they? I mean, they're, yeah, strong, incredibly strong. So I really missed that, and I think they closed the Southwest Ledge. So I'll put it back to you, Chris, and I'll just listen because I got to get upstairs quick. And we've burned 15 minutes, and she's going to be out the door here. George, nice to hear you this morning. I may be back, may not be. I'm not sure if you'll still be in here. And Chris, same to you, AJ1G, K1GMM.
J1G. Well, mammal dolphins. Dolphins are very common up here. I don't know if they're the same species as flipper down in Florida area, but dolphins are very, very common. I've seen a lot of pictures. I've seen them from the topside. A lot of time, riding sea trials on submarines, you get a chance to go up in the sail when you're transiting on the surface and heading out of New London Groton and in. Quite often, dolphins will be wake riding in our bow wakes. And I've actually seen, official photos they've taken of boats on the surface for, contract purposes. The Navy has nice shiny pictures of their new boats where there's actually, you can see a pair of dolphins on either side of the bow of the submarine riding in the bow wake. And, on that same subject, just recently, this summer at some point, I don't know if he was fly casting. I think it was a surf caster somewhere up in Narragansett Bay, a location, landed a huge tarpon.
What?
In our associate tarpon with down in, Key West and the Glades and the Bahamas and everything else. But there was a huge tarpon made it all the way up here this summer. And on one of the few occasions
that's
we've had,
bizarre.
I'm having a name block here. Not the sea cows there. The things that eat grass down there in Florida, the Everglades. Jeez, I got a name block. Too many birthdays, I guess. But we've had them up here on occasion, and they migrate south. They get very lost, I guess.
Oh, gosh, you're working this morning,
dude? They don't survive the winter.
Crap.
But and we had a couple of years ago, a guy was going to work. He was a surf caster. He had his rod on his truck. He was at Old Mystic, north of 95. At the headwaters of the Mystic River up in Old Mystic, and there's a salt marsh up there. And he looked and saw something thrashing in the water. He stopped and
It's in use.
And it got the attention of the state
douchebags.
DEM, and they fined him for fishing in fresh water without a freshwater license, because I guess 95 was a demarcation line for salt versus fresh up here. Anyhow, let me get back to George. Bored or falling asleep here on fish stories. N2LJO, AJ1G.
No problem with this whatsoever. AJ1G and the group N2LJO. 7-3 to you, Steve. Good to chat this morning. Hope you have a wonderful day. Looks like the weather's going to be okay. And, okay, just wanted to check real quick. Okay, so where was I? I was talking about, All
right, you guys. Quick little one this morning. I figured I'd just jump in here. See how everybody's doing. Dude, I feel like I'm going to die. I know it's nothing like what you deal with, but my God, I made 2 trips to Rutland, pick up a ton of pellets yesterday. So I had to load the rig. When I got home, I had to clean the garage, one bay of the garage to get the pellets in. I got 3 more ton to go. And had a problem with the washing machine, so I was going nonstop from like 5 yesterday morning, started on the washing machine, and finished that up around noon, 1 o'clock, and then went up to Rutland twice to get pellets and then stack them here. And I got yard work to do today and trimming, so I've been up since 3. Oh my God. I swear to God, I'm going to be freaking dead here. We'll be sleeping later, I'll tell you that, because I can't even keep my eyes open right now. I've been up for 5 hours. Nice already. Anyways, we'll see you guys later.